The attack on Varnashrama Dharma, according to me, is the direct product. And according to me, that is the textbook instance of the success of leftist propaganda across the country. I will stand by the very clear statement that caste hatred, caste supremacism have no place. They never did. They should never have any place whatsoever. Be that as it may, Varnashrama Dharma certainly has purchase when it comes to some of our traditional institutions. Those who do not wish to subscribe to the values of those traditional institutions are under no fatwa-esque obligations to do so. You have been provided alternatives to it. From the Gayatri Parivar to every other organization that believes in disseminating the knowledge of the Vedas freely to everyone regardless of jati, there is no restriction whatsoever. The ones who wish to subscribe to those notions must equally have the freedom to do so because the Constitution permits it under Article 26. So the question that I would want to ask is, since the ones who constantly speak on the subject quote Dr. Ambedkar, did he put in a provision in the Constitution asking for destruction of caste as a structure or jati as a structure or varna as a structure, despite having written a book on the subject? For whatever reason, whether he wanted to do so to preserve reservations for a certain group of people, that's a different issue altogether, but he chose not to do so, right? I am of the very clear view that I am using the position of Savarkar only for the purposes of protection from the outsider. But how this system will conduct itself within itself, there is significant diversity for everyone. You want to follow the Arya Samaji route, you have the freedom to do so. The problem arises when you're basically saying that traditional Vedic institutions must subscribe to and stand by the values of Arya Samaj or Gayatri Parivar or anybody else. We are saying, to each his own. These are institutions that are run by Shastras, these are institutions that are run by Smritis, these are institutions that are run by Puranas, these are institutions that are run by Sthala Puranas. Allow them to do what they want to do. Which means, assume for a moment, let's take the same Sabarimala example and take it forward. If you choose to construct a newly minted Ayyappa temple in any part of this country, and you choose that the rules of this temple will be very different to the actual Ayyappa temple, can anybody stop you from doing so? But that institution is the epicenter, and that institution will live by the book that has consecrated it or that governs its practice. Right? Let's assume for a moment you set up a new temple altogether in every street, wherever you want to. And you say, sorry, here Varnashrama Dharma will not reign at all. And we will choose to appoint somebody else as the priest because we believe that he's trained, he's good enough, his character is good enough, therefore we want him. Who can stop you? Who will stop you? Legally, you can't be stopped. Shastrically, you can't be stopped. That's for you to decide. But what is it that you're constantly trying to do? Is that you're constantly trying to foist your notions on that group which is today a minority. That institution which is a minority. And the fact of the matter is, these are the only institutions that have managed to withstand the test of time when it comes to preserving the spiritual aura of that place. That is why people still go to these places of all the institutions that have been built across the centuries. These are the institutions everybody gravitates to. That is why when I use the word decolonization, I'm saying you have chosen to look at your own history with such an absolute loathsome vision that you don't even want to understand what it speaks of. You don't even want to understand what is its position when it comes to an Advaita philosophy, what is its position when it comes to Vyavaharik philosophy, when it comes to certain places. We don't want to strike the distinction at all whatsoever. Keep attacking the Vedic core of the Hindu philosophy in whatever name, under whatever rubric, under whatever umbrella. You're paving the way for anti-Hinduism at some point or the other.